Hello and welcome to my Elise Support guide. The reason I'm making this video is because I tried to look up guides myself, and honestly, there aren't any. There's some videos with Elise Support in the title, but when you go and watch it, it's just some dude playing the champ in the role and not really explaining his thought process or how to take advantage of it and why he's doing the things he's doing. So I thought that, shit, I can make a better video than this. So that's what I'm going to do. And, I'm only really Diamond 4, Diamond 3 hover. That's what I've been for the past couple of seasons. So if there's some Masters, Grandmasters, Challenger, Elite Support player looking at this video and is like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, please, by all means, take this as motivation to make a better guide. But right now, I think that I'm the only person that's going to make a in-depth guide. So that's what I'm going to do. The goal with Elite Support is to win lane as hard as possible to facilitate you roaming and snowballing the rest of the game. Electrocute is going to give you the most damage possible in the early laning phase. Same is true for sudden impact. Zombie Ward facilitates you when you're roaming and clearing vision, giving you extra vision, and it's really invaluable. Treasure Hunter facilitates your snowball. Mana Flow Band helps you with the small amount of mana problems that you have, and also once you're roaming, getting this 1% missing mana every 5 seconds helps almost feel like you're back to Jungle Elise where you have infinite mana in the jungle. It's not quite as good, but, close, facsimile. Scorch gives you that little bit of extra damage in the early laning phase. You don't need attack speed because most of your damage is coming from your spells as Elise support and you're not hitting minions. So double adaptive. The scaling health rune beats the flat health rune once you're level 4 and on, but with Elise, you're really trying to win levels 1, 2, and 3, so this flat health rune is more important. If you win levels 1, 2, and 3, you're not going to miss the extra health. If you lose your lane hard, you're not going to give a shit that your health is scaling slightly. For your build path, you're going to start the same as any other support. Then your first couple of backs should consist of Dark Seal, Amplifying Tome, then Boots, then Aether Wisp, and a Control Ward when you can fit it in. Your core items are Sork Shoes, Storm Surge, and Blood Song. With Blood Song, Sork Shoes, Storm Surge, and Dark Seal with some stacks, you have enough damage to one-shot pretty much anyone except probably Tom Kench. And you need to realize is you lack the tankiness and will probably get, one shot by anyone else. So it's really important that you take winning engagements and do not take losing engagements. How do you control what's winning and losing? Vision denial. That's why these control wards and your ability to ward around the map and sweep and get zombie wards is crucial for you taking winning fights and getting picks as an assassin, which you are. That all helps explain why Shurelia's Battle Song as your second item. You're kind of low econ as Elite support, and Shurelia's Battle Song is cheap. It gives you ability power, ability haste, movement speed, all things that you want as Elite support, and it gives you the extra bonus movement speed to disengage from hard losing fights and engage into hard winning fights. You're playing a high damage assassin. It's all or nothing. You want the movement speed to really press when it's a winning fight and really run when it's a losing fight. After that, your item 3 plus choices are really Magi's Soul Stealer if you're snowballing. If you're going to get to 25 stacks and get the movement speed, this is great. Into poke comps, you're going to want Rylai's to slow them down for the same reason you want Shurelia's. These combo very well, giving yourself movement speed and denying the enemy movement speed. And then Zhonya's into hard engage comps. You get Leona ulted, J4 ulted, Wukong ulted, whatever it is. Zhonya's helps you react to that and not really get fucked so hard. Crypt Bloom is an option if you need extra magic pin, if a lot of your team has magic damage and they're building magic resist, and it's a way for you to heal your allies with your assassination capabilities. Alright, so now I'd like to talk about how the actual laning phase goes, or what my general game plan is. So the first thing I like to do is get to the enemy's closest lane bush. And this is an example of that. So I'm basically trying to path with my team to get control of this bush. It's nice if your jungler or your team helps you do it, because, for example, some champs like Leona or Pyke like to fight for this bush, so having allies makes that fight easier. But Platinum's especially good because nobody's thinking about this and nobody is fighting for this bush. So it's usually especially free in these lower elos. But that's basically what this goes. Now, why are we fighting for this bush? Let me just slow down the speed a little bit. It's so that we can get a really good early poke. With Elise, if you do the full combo of auto, Q, press R, Q, auto, walk away, that will be about half of anybody's health. Ideally, the enemy AD carries. So that's what we're doing here is we're sitting here waiting for Jin to aimlessly walk up to the wave and do exactly that. At that point, I'm walking out. Okay, so you've poked the enemy AD carry. At this point, you're trying to get level 2 before them. As you see, I got level 2, and I'm leveling my E so I can land Cocoon and do my full combo. Once I've done my full combo, see, I'm not fully committing to the fight. I'm going to then repel out because what it's about is getting a really uneven trade. Nuking this guy's health bar, making him use his summoner spells, his potions, while I haven't committed any of mine. Now that you've gotten them low, what you're playing for is the crash, okay? So I'm making little trades and using my repel to make them uneven so I don't get hurt as badly. But at that point, I'm really trying to get um, the dive. So I'm crashing this wave so that I can go in. Now this wasn't executed that well. I should have gotten a double kill, but hopefully you get the idea. Some games I don't sprint straight to the bot bush. Some games, instead, I work with my team to get vision in the enemy's jungle to know where he starts. So in this case, I place my ward on this red buff, that's why we see it, and then I go back and I get sweeper. I try to get into this lane bush, but as you see, the minions hit me, so we know there's a ward here. So I then take the next bush. If I can apply pressure from here and initiate the trade without them seeing me, that works from here too. At this point, they know that I'm here, so they place their ward. Now, okay, I've lost the pressure to fight from both bushes. However, I've gained something else. Both of the wards used bot lane. We don't need to worry about me flaming the enemy jungler. Okay, we all succumb to human emotion sometimes, but it's still valuable. Both of the enemy bot laners do not have their wards, so they do not know if a gank is coming. Whereas we used our wards in a way that to let us know the jungler started his red and is pathing top. Now I want to show an example of taking fight when you're both in vision and you didn't get to initiate it as Elise. If you start the fight from a bush and you got to initiate it as Elise, it's probably hard winning, unless you initiate it on Tom Kinch. But when they initiate the fight, it really might be hard losing depending on certain circumstances. In this case, what you really need to consider is the person that initiated on my AD carry going to do a shit ton of damage or not? So for example, if the enemy support is Brand or Pantheon or something like that, cocooning that person as early as possible to deny them from having damage can be helpful. However, in this case, it's a Leona. Leona is not going to one-shot my Jhin. In fact, if they stayed in this fight by themselves and he kited her out, he'd probably win it. So my job is to completely ignore this Leona and instead focus this Aphelios. So I land Cocoon on him, do my combo on him, and threaten his life so that he cannot kill my Jhin. At this point, we get to kill the diving Leona and kill the Aphelios too. I should have popped my pot earlier. But as you see, he's going to walk up, get flashed on, and if he didn't die to the burn, he would have died to my repel. Now, what I want to show here is when I reset and get my buy, which is Dark Seal boots and everything, I'm looking mid. I want to see, can I fight this? Am I supposed to come to this? And what I see is a fight that's already over and a wave that is going to crash before I get there. So there's no point. But then I notice, hey, they've extended the fight. And I come over and we get a kill. We're looking for volatility like this to take part in. And the reason why I didn't pat there immediately was because I thought that everybody's going to just crash the wave and leave. But it's Platinum. They don't do that. They take these weird extended fights, and we come to them and we say thank you for this volatility. Now, it's really important to understand that you don't want to take fights without your repel. If you take fights without your repel, it's like saying, yeah, I'm willing to fight without my safety blanket. Because repel is what lets you say, actually, fuck off, I don't want to take any damage at all right now, which is a really powerful thing. So fighting when you have your repel up is crucial. Here's an example of that. This should have been hard losing for us. We're both low HP and they're full HP. If I did not have repel here, I would be dead. But because I do have repel, instead, this Leona is trolling. Double kill. There's one more thing I want to showcase here. After this fight, I'm backing, but we notice that J4 shows top. At this point, I no longer have to back because I can help my AD carry shove out the wave and get his crash, which helps him make sure that the wave is bouncing back towards him so that he can farm safely under tower. If J4 did not show top here, I would not push this because it would be a double kill for J4 potentially. But since we see him top, it's a free crash, and this crash enables me to reset and take a roam timer. Because look at the bot wave. It's pushing. My J4 or my Jin can take this wave and farm it under tower while I roam to assist on grubs. This gives us a 3v2 that they can't really contest. So it's free grubs. And now, since our wave is pushing out, I need to get my ass back to bot lane to help my AD carry ensure he can crash that wave. If it stays frozen like it is right now, then he can't farm. But it eventually crashes and we're good. Now, since the wave is crashing, we have a fat wave. And what do you see on the minimap? We see Maokai top, we see Syndra Leona mid, we see J4 mid. What does that mean? It means that Aphelios is all by himself. So I'm spam pinging, let's kill this motherfucker. And that's how easy it is to dive on Elise. I missed Cocoon, I took a lot of damage, I kind of just walked straight at the guy, but because I have Repel, I can very easily reset the aggro on the tower. It's just important to make sure that you're the guy that takes the aggro and not your Jin. Also, I delayed doing any damage to the Aphelios until I got as close as possible so I could guarantee my Q and try to take as little damage as possible until it was time to kill. As I reset out of base, I'm thinking to myself, are there any kills available? Maybe bot, but other than that, not really. Are there any objectives available? Well, drag is. So I'm going to take this roam timer while my AD carry is just safely farming under tower, and I'm going to get us deep vision for the dragon. Now, where's the best place to put vision? It's in the jungle entrances, as deep as possible so we know where they're coming. So it's this bush here and this bush here. At this point, drag is free, and once we secure it, we'll also know as soon as J4 shows bot. Now, as I'm resetting, look at the bottom of the minimap. See J4? Because of that ward, we know where he is. This guy's fucked. He's never going to be able to walk around the map again without us knowing where he's going and what he's doing. This is how you snowball and carry a game as support. At this point in the mid game, I'm going to be walking straight mid because I don't know what I'm doing yet. I don't know if I want to go top to these grubs. I don't know if I want to go bot to gank an Aphelios who's trying to farm. But I'm going to walk mid because it's the way for me to be equidistant to either play and figure out what I want to do. I'm thinking, let me kill these Aphelios, but then I see my Jin and this Syndra's trying to push, so I take the free kill. And now, with my time, I'm going to once again ward these jungle entrances. this is an example of snowballing a game. Another important thing that to keep in mind when you're trying to land Cocoon is think about the minions that make the enemy AD carry feel safe. So right now, when you look at this wave, these three ranged minions act as like a, wall that blocks my Cocoon and makes these people feel safe. So if I can take advantage of the exact moment in time that one of these die, that lane becomes no longer safe, and this Twitch needs to recognize that and get the hell out of the way. Like, for example, if this minion were to die, Twitch can't stand here anymore. He needs to stand here or here behind these two minions. So as soon as Draven acts as one of these minions to kill it, that opens a lane of opportunity for me to throw Cocoon. In this case, it's going to be this minion because it has the lowest health out of all of them, right? It's going to be the next one he last hits. So after letting my little babies auto it a little bit, swap to human form, anticipating my Draven to axe it. You see it's gone now. Once a blocked lane of vision is now open, and we throw Cocoon then. This lets us take such a big trade that later ultimately results in their death. Sometimes the enemy AD carry knows that a dive is coming. In this case, if this Twitch were to stay, he dies. So he invises out and leaves. That's okay too. Take plates and don't let this guy get XP while the entire minion wave dies under tower. If I see him walk up for XP, I'm repelling on him and killing him. But he knows that, so he doesn't walk up, and he's going to miss 2 full waves. In this example, Nami is not as smart. She doesn't understand that she'll just die if she stays here. So she dies. Once you take the bot tower, the next best thing you can be doing is getting deep vision so that we figure out where the enemy jungler is and he can't get any successful ganks off, and helping your AD carry take plates before the 14-minute mark when plates fall off, and just get that extra gold and that extra snowball. So in this case, we're going to crack mid more. And now that mid and bot towers are gone, we're going to help take top plates. All right, in this game we are losing. Definitely partially my fault because I'm 1-5, and also because the enemy Clud is like 17-3 or something disgusting. But I want to explain a little bit is whenever you're playing Elise Support, winning or losing, you're never playing for, team fights really. You don't want a traditional 5v5 front to back team fight. You're an assassin. What you want is to have vision denial and vision yourself and be getting picks. So what I'm going here is trying to get, while I notice the Kled here, who's the most fed guy, I'm trying to play on the opposite side of the map of him and get picks on his weaker allies that are by themselves and secure deep vision. So here we find Talia, we assassinate her, and then I move on because I'm trying to get deep vision because this vision is what might enable me to get a pick later. So now I see my Yone is pushing bot tower. So I'm going to just sit in this bush and wait to see if somebody's going to come try to kill him. In this case, nobody does, but we get the tower safely and I reset. Now I'm looking for picks. I'm looking for picks. This mid fight, kind of scary. It's not what I'm really looking for. I don't really want team fights. I want a pick. And then alas, somebody shows by themselves. So now I'm going to play to make sure there's no vision in the area and see how I can pick this off. Okay, I see her walking here. I'm going to sit in this bush and wait. Lay my cocoon. Deny the blast plant. And get the pick. But this is how you're trying to play Elise Support, is you're looking for people that are by themselves, you're looking to deny the enemy vision, you're looking to gain vision yourself, and you're trying to set up in bush camp to get these picks. If you take these, big team fights, you know, this is the outcome you're going to get. Now I want to explain a little bit about what, lanes that you do like Elise Support in and don't like Elise Support in. So with Elise support, you have to think about it really being about landing E's, cocoons, winning all-ins, and getting dives, and getting roam timers. Now, what do all four of these things generally require? Having push. If you have more minions on your side than the enemy does, then that means that they all have less minions, right? And what does that facilitate? Well, it facilitates landing cocoon because they have less minions to hide behind. It facilitates dives because you will have a fat wave to crash and then dive them with. It facilitates roam timers because you have a fat wave under their tower that they are stuck hitting while you are off roaming, affecting other parts of the map. And it facilitates all-ins because while you're all-inning, you have a fatter wave than them, so they have less minions assisting them in the fight than you do. So with that in mind, it's all about getting push. And then, you know, a little bit, you know, secondary to that, it's also about just having a stronger laner, right? In reality, Elise at level 3 is stronger than most champions in the game, so this won't come up often. But there are a couple exceptions where the enemy bot lane is actually still just stronger than you, even if you have push. So with that in mind, you like playing with AD carries like Caitlyn and Sivir and Tristana because these all three can get push very easily. Okay. And any other champion that you can think of that also gets pushed, like any mages that are in the bot lane that get pushed for free as well, Elise honestly doesn't mind that either. And then Draven, he can get pushed, but it's not really what he's known for. It's just that he's also so strong early, in addition to his ability to kind of push, that he's so good. And then to think of examples of AD carries that are bad with Elise, that would be things like Ezreal or Twitch or Smolder, because these champions do not get pushed as easily. Um, Vayne, so you are kind of stuck with a fatter enemy wave, and it is, a disadvantage to all of the things that you're trying to accomplish. You still can play Elite support in those scenarios and just skill diff your opponent. Skill diff always trumps this stuff. If you have better hands, you land more cocoons, they land or they miss everything. You know, who cares? You're winning the fight. But if you want an easier time, an easier fight, then you want to play with champs that get you push. And you want to play against champs that don't get push. So on the flip side, what you don't want to see is a Zyra or a Heimerdinger. These supports get push and create more bullshit on the enemy side that is harder to land E through and fight through. Um, or Xerath or Lux, these type of supports, they'll throw a charged Q, Xerath will, or some ranged ability that's AoE, and it will both hit you and the wave, helping their push and hurting you in the trade. These champs make it much harder. Once again, you can skill diff them, you can dodge all their abilities and kill them, but it's just harder. And then champions like Braum, specifically Braum Ashe as a lane, even though they may not necessarily get push, like they're not like pushing machines, they're so strong in the 2v2 that they probably might still overcome the early strength that you have as Elise, so it might not be worth it. Whereas supports that you totally don't mind fighting, are actually like Nautilus, Thresh, Blitzcrank, these hook champions. While they're quote unquote strong early, they don't help push, and their strength is hooks. Which, if you didn't know, if you turn into a spider form as Elise, you have spider babies that are behind you, and they will always be behind you. So if you turn into spider form and then you walk backwards, your spider babies are in front of you. And if Nautilus or Blitzcrank or Thresh tries to throw hook into that, they're going to hook spider babies. So you have access to a hook counter the entire time, which can help you win the fight against these champs who are traditionally good at fighting early. They're not that great early against Elise, and they don't really assist in the pushing game. So you totally don't mind these hook champions. And then all of these, more traditional pokey champions, I forgot to mention Pike's also a hook champion you can beat, but these more pokey champions like Nami or Rakan or Soraka or Sona, you don't mind fighting because they don't really help push so much, and they aren't as good as you levels 1, 2, and 3. So and then for AD carries, the champions that you love playing with are kind of the ones you hate playing against. You don't want to fight Sivir. Her spell shield counters you. Her ability to just press W and blow up a wave will never let you dive. Caitlyn, her range will outrange you. Her ability to push will outpush you. Same with Tristana, and her ability to press W through CC will, kind of nullify your cocoon a bit. And then once against the champions you want to fight are the ones that don't get push. So that's kind of how to think about it. All right, and that's all for this Elise support guide. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out some other videos on YouTube or watch me on Twitch whenever I'm streaming. To be honest, I have a full-time job and I just do this for fun, so I'm not the most consistent, but I appreciate you watching nonetheless.